Alright, here we go. We're talking about section 1.4. We're going to talk about X and Y intercepts. We're going to talk about slope, which is section 1.5. Okay, your textbook should be open to page 17, roughly somewhere along there. Alright, intercepts. First way I want to talk about it is I want to show you a line. Okay? If I graph a line using the intercepts, and it crosses through the X and Y intercepts, and this is what it looks like. Okay? Not every line has an X and a Y intercept. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But this line in general, okay, has an X-intercept and a Y-intercept. One of the things you need to be able to do is identify what the intercepts are. Okay? So they're going to give you a line like this, and they're going to say identify the intercepts. Okay? Tell me what the X-intercept is. Tell me what the Y-intercept is. Okay? This is our X-intercept. We can abbreviate like that, X-intercept. It is where the line crosses the X-axis. Okay? We have an X-axis. The line crosses that axis. At a certain point, we have an intercept. What is it in this case? What is this intercept? 5. I don't know if you can see that far away. X-intercept is 5. Sometimes they want you to give it to me as a coordinate. You can't just say 5. You have to put it in coordinate form with a parentheses. What would the coordinate be for this X-intercept? 5, 0. That's very important. We'll come back to that in a second. But the X-intercept on this one is 5, 0. Okay? Likewise, it has a Y-intercept. What is the Y-intercept in this problem? Positive 3, right? If I wrote it as a coordinate, what would it be? 0, 3. Okay? So I have a Y-intercept, I have an X-intercept. Okay? Talking a little bit about slope, just to kind of flash forward to slope. What is the slope on this line? Just in general. Positive, negative, 0, undefined. What is it? It's negative. How do we know that? Because it's going down. As I read it from left to right, the line is going down, the slope is down. More specifically, if I wanted to find the slope of this line, what would I do? What is slope equal? Rise over run. Right? We have a formula we'll talk about in a second. But in general, slope is rise over run. So I know that it has a negative slope. If I wanted to find the slope of this line, how far does it rise and how far does it run? It rises negative 3, meaning it goes down from this point to this point, down 1, 2, 3. How far does it run in that direction? 5. So the specific slope, we said that it was negative earlier, but the specific slope of this line is negative 3 over 5. And I know you guys know slope, and you should know it frontwards and backwards. From 8th grade math, you should know how to find slope frontwards and backwards. So we're talking about these things at the same time. We're talking about slope, we're talking about the intercepts. Okay, questions? Any questions? All right, let's do another one with intercepts. Let's go right here and right here. Here we have a line. Go straight. Here we have a line. Okay, you need to be able to list very quickly the X-intercept, Y-intercept, and then be able to tell me the slope of that one. Okay, what is the X-intercept of this line? Negative 1. Okay, I don't need it as a coordinate. Only if they ask for it as a coordinate would you give it to me as a coordinate. What is the Y-intercept of this line? Negative 4. Is it going to have a positive slope or a negative slope? We know that it's going to be negative just by the looks of it. And if I count my rise over my run, what is it? Negative 4, right? We go down 4, and then how far do we run? 1. Slope is always represented as a fraction. Okay, negative 4 over 1. You could say that that equals negative 4. You shouldn't say always. The slope normally is represented as a fraction. Either way is fine. Okay? Either way is fine. Question? The run is not negative. When I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, that gave me the negative 4. But when I ran, it was in the positive direction. So that's positive. Right? When I run this way, then it would be negative. But I ran positive that direction, so it's positive. So only one of them was negative. The 4 was negative, the 1 was positive. Now let's go in the other direction. What if we went from this point up to this point? Up would be what? Positive 4, but we went left, which would be what? Negative 1. Isn't that the same as that? So good question. Okay, very good question. Here's the thing. Sometimes people can look at it and say, hey, that's got a negative slope. But when they give me the slope, they end up putting a positive number. And I'm like, why? You told me ahead of time that it was negative. So always do a visual check and confirm what you find by hand. Please don't talk. Guys, please don't talk. You got a question, raise your hand. Okay. Please don't talk. Any questions on this? Okay, I'm ready to move on. All right. Now, before I move on, I want to erase this part right here, and I want to talk about this just a little bit. When I found the y-intercept, what was x? 0. That's very important. We're going to come back to that. When I found the x-intercept, what was y? Here's x. Here's y. What was y? 0. That's very important. I want you to write that down. To find the x-intercept, let y equal 0. That's always the case. In order to find the x-intercept, you let y equal 0. In order to find the y-intercept, what do? You let x equal 0. Write that down. No particular order, write that down. Let's see how we're doing on time. In order to find the x-intercept, you let y equal 0. In order to find the y-intercept, you let x equal 0. Okay, let's do an example of that. Everybody got this written down? All right. I'm going to erase right here. All right. So, 4x minus 3y is equal to 12. Classic example. 4x minus 3y is equal to 12. First thing you're going to do is I'm going to say identify or find the x-intercept, identify or find the y-intercept. Okay? Hold on. In order to find the x-intercept, what do we do with y? Let it be 0. Watch how easy that is. You just take your pencil or your hand or your finger and you cover it up. What's left after I cover up y? 4x equals 12. Can you do that in your head? You divide both sides by 4. What does x equal? 3. So the x-intercept is positive 3. Okay? The x-intercept is positive 3. To find the y-intercept, what do we do with x? We cover it up, right? We let it be 0. We cover it up. And now what do we got? Negative 3y is equal to 12, which equals what? Negative 4. Some people will try to leave the negative off. That 3 is negative, and you have to divide by negative 3. So your answer here is negative 4. Could you use these two intercepts to graph the line? Yes, and that'd be a very easy way to graph. Tell me how to graph when your x-intercept's 3 and your y-intercept's negative 4. What would you do? X-intercept would do, what would it do? Go to the right, 1, 2, 3, and put a dot. Right? X-intercept's 3, I go to the right, put a dot. Your y-intercept's what? Negative 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put a dot. Okay? So your x-intercept's 3, your y-intercept's negative 4, there's your line. Just like this. X-intercept's 3, y-intercept's negative 4. Looking at the line, what kind of slope does it have in general?
Positive.
A positive slope. You should be able to identify that just by looking. Okay? What about specifically what would the slope use? If I use rise over run, what would the slope be? How far do I rise? 4. Right? I rise 4. How far do I run? Positive. 3. So the slope would be 4 over 3. We knew it was positive by looking at it. Is it cut off? 30 seconds. We knew it was positive by looking at it, so then we just did rise over run. Okay? Any questions? Just we'll let it go. Any questions? Actually, let's cut it off because sometimes when it's 10:01, it messes up YouTube.